She said that she strictly respected etiquette, so she protected her goddess and the others and accompanied them on their final journey. Maybe she won't come back. I had already thought about this before, so now I was relieved to see Mississippi Ryu back, but at the same time, I couldn't help but ask one thing. Is everything okay? If you don't go back to Astria-sama. Mrs. Astria's favor is still engraved on Miss Astria's back. Ryu. No matter how painful the past was, this person is still a righteous member of the family and should still be able to follow the goddess. If I were in Miss Ryu's position, my heart would definitely be shaken. If I have to part with Lady Hestia. If I could, I would definitely choose to be with the goddess. Well, that's good. I gave up on justice once. I only cared about myself and stayed away from Lady Astria. Now, if I want to join again, it would be very selfish. Also, Astria-sama has established a new shelter. She has a new family who looks up to her. Ryu smiles. And I also found a new place to stay. For example, Seer and the others, and your side. This is my choice, Belle. I want to stay here. I want to stay with you who saved me. She didn't stop to look at the past, but chose the future, Mrs. Ryu said clearly. Her hair, which was always dyed. Undisguised golden hair, which now reaches her back, seems to indicate her response. Furthermore, this is not a separation between life and death. We can meet again if we want. We also agreed to write letters to each other from today onwards. The bond between Astria-sama, me, Alice and the others will not disappear. Ms. Ryu summed it up by gently looking at her back, where the goddess's divine blood resided. The profile of her face revealed at this moment was something I had never seen before. There is no hint of fog in it. Not confusing at all. This is a matter decided by Miss Ryu and Lady Astria. So I decided not to interrupt. So there is only one thing I must say. He straightened her posture, smiled at her and said. Welcome back, Mississippi Ryu. I'm back, Belle. The magic stone lamp emitted a soft light and we were illuminated by it, sharing that smile. This dark alley, with only 2 people there, makes people feel very bright and warm. Belle. Let's get straight to the point. By the way, Miss Ryu seems to have something to say. What is it? After the 2 laughed for a while, Miss Ryu politely said the opening words, and I suddenly remembered this matter. Leaving the tavern on purpose, the 2 talked alone. It must be something very important, right? Maybe I don't want to be heard by others, come to think of it. In floor. Her shoulders shook violently. Belle. There's something I want to tell you first. All good. I like you. Okay. Wait a minute, what? So many things happened before that I completely forgot about this incident and was confessed by Mississippi Ryu before. I like you. And he made it very clear that I am not allowed to act like a friend or like a rabbit person or a pet, these misunderstandings. Suddenly, my entire face heated up quickly. Instantly realizing that he was alone with a beautiful older elf, his heart beat uncontrollably. At the same time, my face also became pale. A series of events after the goddess festival, and rejecting Seer came to mind. A born fool, the clown Belle. Longing cannot be ignored. If the other party asks me to respond with a confession, I can only give one response. I know very well that I now tend to fear the favor of the opposite sex. Although it is definitely not appropriate to say this, and I am not qualified to do so, but since the incident with Mississippi Seer, I may have had a psychological shadow of rejecting other people's favor. If my grandfather were here, he would probably say to me, "Why are you so proud? Otherwise, I would be very jealous. It's unreasonable. But it is very painful. Mrs. Ryu's empty pupils were fixed on me. There is no escape. Even if there is, we can't escape. Originally, not only you, but also Hestia-sama should have come. Stupid thought spread uncontrollably, and Miss Ryu didn't know if she noticed something was wrong with my expression. She was looking at me very seriously. There were just two of us in the stone alley. In a situation more suited to a confidential conversation, she opened her thin lips. "Belle. Please wait a minute, I'm not ready yet." My very embarrassing voice was in vain, and Mrs. Ryu said, "Business. I want to join your family." Needless to say, of course I am. He showed a stupid face. The next morning. Ryudano wants to join the Hestia family. Miss Mikoto's surprised voice blended into the clear blue sky. Yes. I got permission to change my family from Hestia-sama. Hearing Miss Ryu say this clearly, not only Miss Mikoto, but also Lily, Welf, Haruheim and the goddess were all shocked. This is the foundation of Hestia Familia. As an intermediary, I, the group leader, created an opportunity for negotiation between the two parties. I know you are very powerful and you are also an elf with a strong heart. You should be more than welcome, but you have to resign from the tavern, right? It's a shame that the dwarf is willing to let you go. Mamma Mia told me before. She said, if you want to go somewhere, leave the store quickly. Lady Hestia and Welf thought of the terrifying dwarf landlady in their minds. Seeing this, Mississippi Ryu said what she had said before and after the incident, the order given to her. I have a problematic sense of justice, so I can't stay in the same place forever. Mia-san seemed to sigh and complain to Miss Ryu, who came out of the tavern several times to help us. And it was because of us that we left again and again, which made me very sad. After the war game ended, after Ms. Ryu informed Mississippi Mia about her intentions, now that you found a place to stay, go quickly. Stupid girl. The dwarf didn't seem to look at her and said this while cooking. Miss Ryu bowed deeply. Thanks to all the Cinderellas, we now have enough manpower. And they seem to be better at this than I am. Mrs. Ryu added, and at the same time, probably feeling a little embarrassed, she lowered her gaze, looking a little disappointed. She smiles bitterly at this, and then she perks up again and raises her head. I completed the blessing change with Hestia-sama. Although I am an elf who has made countless mistakes, if you are willing, I want to join this family. The favor engraved on her back, I finished saying goodbye to Lady Hestia. It's not a skill seal, it's a waiting for conversion state. And even if she changes factions, Lady Hestria's divine blood will still remain behind Miss Hestria's back. Ryu. And the important oath with Miss Alice will not disappear. Mrs. Ryu gently held her left shoulder with her right hand and looked at us with straight eyes. The first person to respond was Miss Mikoto. Of course. It's an honor for me to be in the same faction as Ryudano and challenge the same adventure. From the battle with the Black Goliath on the 18th floor, seeing the elf's body using parallel chant, that was incredible. No family can refuse when a first-level adventurer asks to join them, right? Yes. And we have been helped by Ryu many times, so there is no reason to refuse. Mr. Bell has also reached level 5. Faction level. Guild tax. My head. Welf and Mississippi Haruheim also smiled and agreed. There was about one staff officer holding his head in his hands and grunting in pain, but there shouldn't be any problem. And I don't need to mention that. The addition of new members was approved by all members. Okay, it's decided. The conversion ceremony will be held later. Now Miss Elf, welcome to our family. Finally, Hestia expressed her welcome out loud. Upon seeing us, led by Mississippi Mikoto, who couldn't help but make a noise of joy, Mississippi Ryu narrowed his eyes. Lilurica. Suddenly her name was called instead of the one he had heard before. Honorific Miss Artie, Lily started. We were equally surprised. Welf, Mikoto, Haruheim, and Belle. And Lady Hestia. Please give me your advice in the future. Perhaps this is the rule in Miss Ryu's mind. Family members living under the same roof should not use honorific titles, but should address each other by name with equal view. We can't help but smile a little embarrassed when we saw Miss Ryu calling our precious names like she treated the former Miss Alice and the Hestia Familia.